Hi.
Hello. How you
Oh,
doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? You looked really surprised.
Yeah, I clicked it's fine.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. This is Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching.
And Krista with Wicked Wisdom Consulting. And
And
we're here for another wonderful episode of Shockingly Delightful.
because it's so fetch.
Yeah, right. No, so the little backstory. So if you don't notice, if you didn't notice, we're both wearing pink today because today's topic is That's So Fetch, which if you're not familiar, is from a very popular movie from I think it's 2004 when I looked it up the other day. What?
They should put it in the comments if they can figure it out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Put it in the
Put
comments
it in
if
the
you know what
comments.
movie. Jenny knows.
Yeah.
That's right. And she even put the whole line in there. Thank you, Jenny. I agree. She said, Michelle, stop trying to make fetch happen. I've been telling her that for years, Jenny, and she just doesn't want to listen. And now I'm realizing, does that mean that I'm the Regina George in this situation?
Yes.
It does, and you're definitely the Gretchen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, at least you're not the Karen.
Well, wait, is it about to rain? Yes, it is.
What's great is it really is about to rain here. That's even better.
That
Oh
was
my
so
God, I
cute.
love it. Well, today's episode, no, see, it cuts your face off. We can't do that.
But it's so fun. All right, fine. Just
Wait,
put
we'll just
your comments and we'll put them underneath. So keep talking.
Yeah, exactly. So today's topic, That's So Fetch, is we're really going to talk about fitting in, consumerism, conforming, all of those things, because really Gretchen was trying to get everyone to follow her and start using the word "that's so fetch" because what did she? Didn't she try to say it was French or something like that?
Yes, and because she was trying to take over from Regina, she was trying to make a name for herself. She was trying to expand and take some ownership of who she was. So she was actually trying to develop herself, which I give her a lot of credit for because she's so fetch.
Well, I mean, I think it's something to be noted that at the end of the movie, she just went and joined a new crowd and conformed to them. So I'm not sure she didn't hold strong to her guns.
Right. And was that because she wasn't supported or she lacked the confidence? But we're probably going in the different.
Sounds like she has some shadow work that she needs to work through. So she really probably needs a really great coach. Too bad, Moksha Grace wasn't born yet back in 2004 because you probably really could have helped Gretchen. Can I finally say the movie name?
Jenny, give us the movie name.
She knows. She gave us two different lines.
No, but she didn't say the movie name. Say the movie name. Somebody say the movie name.
The movie name is Mean Girls from 2004, starring Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams. Yeah, I totally agree. See, Jenny agrees too. Gretchen needed you.
Well, and speaking of which, the first person that puts in the comments a picture of themselves wearing pink today will get one free 60-minute session with me.
Oh, I love it.
There you go. I already posted it, and we'll see who happens to send in their, picture of them wearing pink.
Jenny, get on it. You're here live with us, hearing it first.
So
Where would you like to start with today's conversation?
Well, no, I know you're very passionate about this. I mean, I'm just passionate about fetch because I just think it's a fun word to say. But there is that deeper part of it as trying to make a name for yourself and not conforming. And why did Gretchen need someone else's approval? Why couldn't she have just gone off and done it herself? Or why couldn't she have just used the damn word herself? I mean, my mother-in-law, your grandmother, used to love saying Jiminy Cricket instead of cussing. She didn't care if people thought it was funny or ridiculous. She was a lady and she didn't want to use damn or the F word. So she would say Jiminy Cricket. and she
Yeah.
didn't need anyone else's approval. She just did it. So, there's something to be said about that. If you're holding yourself back and not being you because you're afraid someone else is going to judge you or people are going to judge you, then that's an issue. You're not being yourself. You're not being authentic.
Quick tangent. Jenny's asking, where does she post the picture?
Under the comment of the That's So Fetch Shockingly Delightful post.
We'll find it, Jenny. If you can find what that
Post
is,
it.
post it there. If not, we'll get a notification wherever.
Oh, here, you know what? I'm just going to tag you, Jenny, where you can post it.
Perfect. And then I'm going to expand on what you just said.
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting, and I'm probably more like my Nana than I necessarily thought. And this is different than the grandmother who passed away a couple weeks ago. This grandmother actually passed away a couple months ago. So I guess it's a year of grandmother's passing. But anywho, if you remember this, growing up, I was probably somewhat insufferable to some of my friends because I refused to be peer pressured. I refused to go along with the crowd. If someone tried to peer pressure me, you have now just solidified that I'm not going to do whatever it is that you want me to do, which probably comes from some stubbornness as well. But so I grew up with a very different perspective on conforming, where to conform was completely against who I was. I would wear knee-high socks everywhere. I would wear these crazy outfits. I would hang out with my friends' parents in the kitchen cooking while they were off, hanging out together. I was not worried about conforming at all. I mean, I still am. I'm still not. But it was very pronounced in my childhood, and it was like a known thing of like, don't try to push Krista because it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
It's going to backfire on you terribly. So for me, it's very different. Where, like I said, conforming was something I pushed against very hard. But for most people that I grew up with, conforming was how you survived.
Right.
Whether it was conforming to the latest game that was being played, the fashion, a way to act and behave. And, that probably goes to show how successful of parents you and my dad were and still are, because you raised someone that would not just blindly follow the crowd. And I'm sure my childhood cancer experience had a big part to do with that, but thoughts?
Yeah, probably. I just think it's so interesting because we always wanted you and your brother to be your own person, and dress crazy if you wanted to dress crazy, and be silly and get involved in things that not everyone else was involved in. Your brother picked skateboarding. He did play baseball or t-ball, but he was a skateboarder. And I remember being pregnant, watching the very first X Games, like rubbing my belly going, you're going to be there, like that's going to be you. Who knows whether I manifested that or not. And I definitely think he could have been. Life gets in the way. You go to school and you start conforming and you start doing the things that the other kids are doing. And what's interesting is that, I mean, you two both had very different experiences at some of the same schools. And when, and you and I even had, a very, serious conversation. I was trying to think of the word. Hi, Raymond. Hi, Renee. Thank you for sharing us out. Because you didn't want to go to the traditional high school and you came home and you were adamant, I am not. I am not doing this. And you did all of the research. You did everything you needed to do.
I came with my paperwork. I came prepared.
I think you might have had a presentation, like
Wait,
a PowerPoint. which I wouldn't be surprised.
Is it any shock hearing this story to anybody that I now do operations as a career? I mean, it's really, looking back, it's so stupid how like literally every aspect of my life was based. I've always been an operations person. It's crazy.
I mean, Christmas time, we wouldn't get like a handwritten list for, Santa didn't even get a handwritten list. He got a list with links attached to it.
You remember
model numbers.
Your email got flagged at work because they thought you were like stealing information, but it was just SKU numbers in my Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. That was a hilarious. I remember that so clearly. That was a great conversation with your IT guy. I was like, no, I'm not.
No,
I have integrity. This is just my daughter.
This is just a Santa list. And so when you came to me, I had to have, and this is for all the parents out there, this is one of those moments where you have to take a look and you have to take a step back and go, whose experience of life is this?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want her to go to traditional school because I want her to have the same experiences that I did, which was not always great, by the way. But that last senior year rocked, and it was football games and prom and homecoming and like all the amazing things you can imagine. Like my senior year was just glorious.
Yeah.
The rest of it was a shit show, like from middle school to junior. And so when you came to me and said, yeah, I don't want to do any of that. And I was like, but prom dress shopping but homecoming queen and there. And so I had to take a look at myself and go, this isn't about me.
Right.
Krista's very different, and I can't force her to hold those things that are important to me and make her do that. Because she's not going to have the same experience. She's going to hate every minute of it. So,
Well, and I think it brings up a really interesting contrast and segment of this conversation, which is, I would say you had more of a upbringing and life of kind of more so fitting in with the crowd, conforming a little bit more than I did. And I think that there's benefits, and my brain totally spaced. What's the opposite of benefit?
Downside.
Hello. There's benefits and downsides to both. I can say from a person who has never been one to conform, it can be very lonely. You do not bond with people the same way. It has challenges. That's the other way I could have said it. There's definitely a lot of challenges that come with that, where if you are someone who's more likely to conform and kind of go with the crowd, get the hot things that everyone's buying, whatever it is, there's benefits to that I'll let you speak to that, but from an outsider looking in, it would seem like you were more easily able to connect with people versus someone who doesn't, where it can be a little bit more difficult, especially with developing minds who don't necessarily understand, well, why is this person different from me?
Yes, and I didn't conform. I was the weird one. I was that weird kid that didn't belong to any one group.
Yeah.
And there'd be like someone from a group that would connect with me and like me and try to convince everyone else that I was okay and cool and like them, but I wasn't. And so then I ended up connecting with, I think it was my sophomore or junior year, with a crowd of, what my mom and I used to call all of us was misfits. That's what we were. We were misfits. We didn't belong to any group. We just made a group of all of us that were completely and totally different. One guy wore army boots and a trench coat and took me to Black Flag concerts and Dead Kennedys. And I was at, REM, Raymond, with my, elbows on the stage and just absolutely loved it. But even being a cheerleader, I wanted to be a cheerleader because it was the same high school that my parents went to.
Because you were born to be a cheerleader, let's be honest. You have the perfect personality for a cheerleader. I don't know anyone who has, in essence, more of a cheerleader than you do.
well, thank you.
You're welcome.
But the
that
best,
is a compliment.
But the best of the cheerleading essence, not the mean girl.
No. I mean, literally, just the pure
right. Just the, like, we got this,
energy.
and we're good, and we're, you know, we're gonna be in, you know, spirit, and we're gonna, you know, support each other. And I won the Spirit Award in my senior year because
we had it hanging in our hallway for the first 25 years of my life.
I used to wear a green heart on my cheek for every football game, but it was because I was so proud to go to the same high school as my parents, which, and here's the other thing, and the other reason why I didn't just always fit in. Back then, coming from a divorced family was not all the rage. Like, there weren't a lot of people, like most families were together. And so being raised by a single mom back then was kind of like, wait a minute, you know what? And then it started, like in high school, you know, people's marriages started to break apart. But
where in my day, it was odd to have parents still together. Especially where I went to school, the area is sort of renowned for parents not staying together.
Yeah. And I think that every generation has like a flip-flop, right? We go from being really, really not very strict, like that. I love that meme, you know, that's out right now where it's like, kids, we really did have a commercial that said, do you know where your kids are? And it would play at 10 o'clock every night. That was a serious thing because we were out on the street hanging out. Like, we would ride our bikes to wherever, and we'd be at someone's house, and then all of a sudden it would be 10 o'clock and it was like, oh shit, are the kids here?
I've got to stop us and reel us in because we are getting wildly away from the conversation.
Yes.
The topic at hand.
Yes. But it's so fun.
I think this started with us discussing the benefits and challenges of conforming.
Yes. Going against your own self in order, like boxing your own self in what you want in because you want to conform to what other people are doing, saying, thinking, and becoming a sheep.
Yes. Now, like we said, there's benefits to conforming, one of which it's a lot easier to blend in with the crowd. It's a lot easier to connect with people because you can connect on that shared thing that you all are interested in. So there definitely are benefits to it. But when we look at the downsides of conforming, that's when people can lose who they are, especially with social media right now, trying to fit in with how the algorithm wants you to be posting things. I mean, I have my Tropicountry Acre Instagram, and I found myself like forcing me to like record videos instead of just taking pictures of the different animals on the farm and stuff. So I was like, well, you know, reels are what is going to be shown to like random people. So I need to be doing reels. I have all these great photos, and that's such a silly example, but it's still conforming to what, you know, everyone else is doing. It's conforming, and the algorithms honestly have made that worse, because if we think about it, even with the reels, for example, your reel needs to have exactly the right kind of look and feel and audio and whatever to be shown to more people. So they're forcing people to literally become these robots in order to be successful on a social media platform. Same thing with like promoting businesses. You have to fit into a mold and behave a very specific way in the same way that everyone else is behaving in order to have any sort of results. And so it's literally, social media is creating these just cookie cutter boxes of people.
Yeah.
And it's creating also this illusion of, you know, oh, well, these people have everything, so I need to do the same thing. I mean, the amount of up and coming coaches and consultants and stuff that we both have talked to that feel like they're failing because, well, this person is doing this and they're so successful. No, they're not actually.
Right.
They may say that they are, and they know how to package it and put a nice little bow on it, but most of the people that are boasting online about how much money they're making in the 8 figures, 10 fit, whatever, none of that is real. It's smoke and mirrors. And so these people are trying to conform to something that's not even real.
Right.
That's where it can get real scary.
And I think that we have to think about, everybody needs to think about what is real. What are you most comfortable in? And I'm looking at the comments. Are you more comfortable in jeans and a t-shirt? Are you more comfortable in a baggy shirt and jeans? Are you more comfortable in yoga pants that I have come to absolutely love and has kind of turned into my uniform, even though I'm not wearing my yoga pants today? But yeah, I love my leggings. I love them.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. When I go out, I'll put on jeans. But I mean, it's what are you comfortable with? And not doing something just because someone else is doing it, but because you want to do it.
Yes. And that's one of the benefits of not conforming, is you get to explore those, kooky, silly, fun, eccentric facets of your personality, that if you're constantly just worried about how can I fit in with everybody, you're going to suppress all of that. Yeah. And then that's when you have, the midlife crisis. That's when you have these really kooky 60-year-olds that do a whole 180, and 60's young, 80-year-olds that do a whole 180. And all of a sudden, they're the wicked witch at the end of the street because they want to decorate the way that they wanted to their whole life, but now they don't care anymore. Right. And so why are we waiting until we're 80 and 90 to not care anymore?
Well, I mean,
when you could be enjoying what you love your entire life.
I mean, not for nothing, but I call 50 fun because I don't give a shit anymore. If I want to wear pink, I'm going to wear pink. If I want to wear, crazy t-shirt or a tank top, I'm going to do it. If I want to walk around in my bathing suit all freaking day on a Saturday, even though it's raining, because it makes me feel like I'm at a damn retreat, then that's what I'm going to do. Because I can.
Absolutely.
And it's not hurting anybody else.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's, there's a little bit of a movement starting, it seems like, just from kind of like the little bit that I've seen online of, I would say probably people in my generation, maybe a little bit younger, really starting to adopt that practice of letting those little quirks and stuff come out now instead of worrying about everyone else. And I think it's partially, yes, social media has been so detrimental, but I think it's also been beneficial in that it's pushed things so far that people can now see the ridiculousness of it.
Right. The absurd.
You see the same thing over and over so many times where you go, oh, what are we doing? Right. Like, for example, the whole Stanley Cup craze. If you love Stanley Cups, listen, I'm not one to talk. I am a coffee cup girl and a cup. I don't know why. I love cups, so I get it. But the Stanley Cup thing, people were posting about it. Everyone was buying them. And then it got to a point where people are like, what are we doing?
Why are they so expensive?
Why are we spending, I think they were like $60, $70. Why are we spending this on cups? And I mean, those are people who don't have an obsession with cups. I mean, I resisted. Shocking.
I still like my Tervis, and I like my clear Tervis. Don't give me an aluminum Tervis. I like to see my liquid. Thank you.
You like plastic, not metal.
I like plastic. I'm not a plastic girl, though. I'm not a plastic.
Mean Girls reference. Very nice. Very nice.
You got it. I slipped it in.
Very nice. Very nice. But this brings us into the kind of consumerism part of this conversation with conforming. Is the way, especially with the TikTok, or as I call it, TikTok. That's a kind of like a shout out to Vince Vaughn and Couples Retreat. It makes me smile. See, one of those things that's weird. I say it, it's not, it just makes me laugh, so I do it. But with the TikToks and the Reels and everything, it's great for these small businesses that are blowing up because, one of their products gets popular and whatever, a bunch of people buy it. But it's another thing where you're buying something just to fit in.
Yeah.
Are you buying things and doing things just to make a reel or a TikTok about it? are you saying something just so that you can make a reel or TikTok about it?
Right.
That's where you need to start asking yourself that question.
Am I adding any value?
Am I going to this place on vacation because I want to, or because it's going to have great photos for the gram? Am I buying this thing because I want to be trending right now and go with the trending hashtag, or because I actually want it?
Yeah.
These are questions that we all need to start asking ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with when you go to post something. Am I posting this because I'm proud of it, happy with it, whatever, or am I posting it just to get the likes from it?
Or to show off.
Or to show off.
Right.
What is the intention behind what we're doing? Because so much about life is about intention.
Right. Or to get sympathy.
Let's not go down that avenue.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Whole other conversation.
Right, man.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, and that's kind of trendy in your clique. And I mean clique in the most loving way. Because, paranormal, we need people cleaning up the paranormal and helping the paranormal, because the paranormal just need, they're just souls and spirits that they just want someone to talk to. Maybe they're the misfits too, and they just need someone to talk to. We don't know. We don't know what happened to them, but Raymond can help you figure it out. And Spirit Mechanics, the whole team. And, you can tap in yourself and listen as well and hear what they have to say. It's always fun. But yeah, going back to the conforming thing, yes, he is a legit investigator. We're not just joking around. We're not just joking. He's serious. Conforming can lead to bullying.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta look this way, or you gotta be this way, or you gotta think this way,
mm-hmm.
or you're not going to be part of our group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what the whole movie Mean Girls is about, basically. And there were so many little digs. Regina just had this way of giving these little digs that Caddy she didn't realize, because she came from a different world.
Mm-hmm.
And the bullying is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bullied when I was in 5th grade, because I matured earlier than the rest of the girls, and the girls thought I was weird and the boys thought I was really cool. And I didn't like boys. I was like, ew, like gross, like get away from me at that point. Unless of course you're Robert Redford or Sean Connery or whatever. But
anyway,
yeah, anywho, but there was this bullying because I was very different. And so I was made fun of. And then I didn't wear the same clothes that everyone had, because frankly, my mom, we couldn't afford it. I mean, back then it was, Sergio Valente and, oh my God, what are those pants? The Cavellis. Oh God, come on, guys.
I feel like you're looking to me for help, and
I'm actually thinking like maybe Renee would remember. It was like they had like buttons down the front, and they were annoying to even put on or try on, and they were super expensive, and they were just ridiculous, but everybody wore them.
Mm-hmm.
The sports sacks. If you didn't have a sports sack purse, and it wasn't like all different colors for the different days of the week, like they were just, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And I remember when you guys were little, I was like, yeah, we're not getting into these fads. Like, I'll get you guys like cool clothes and stuff. But I think, and maybe that's why I kind of steered you both into like surfing and skateboarding and things like that, because it wasn't, the other
I don't know what you're talking about, because Billabong and Roxy is not cheap. So it feels like you're going the route of it was less expensive but fashionable, but that stuff is not.
Well, back in the day, it wasn't as expensive because not
Well,
everybody was
that's true too.
buying it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Cavarelli's.
Well, and I want to talk too about, you mentioned bullying is when and the relation to conforming and that, and there is a big element of it, absolutely. And Jenny, I saw you added in there yet that bullying is a big factor. And I have to say, like, I was bullied as well. Shocking, because I refused to go with the crowd, but I'm really grateful for it. And that's like, I know that's kind of a hot perspective, a controversial one, but I'm really grateful for all of the bullying. I'm really grateful for all of the people that gave me a hard time. I'm really grateful for all of the emotional trauma and whatever from all the people in my life growing up, because it forced me to a certain point
Mm-hmm.
where I decided not to give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
It forced me to a point where I said, buck up, Buttercup, get over it.
Yeah.
And you have to have stuff that pushes you to that point, or else you're always going to stay in victim mode.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. You have to be pushed to the point where you don't give a shit anymore.
Right.
I was always made fun of forever because I'm also short as hell. So for me, it wasn't even about, like, I can't change that. It wasn't about clothes. It wasn't about any of that. So mine started, and I'm sure yours did too, about being short, maybe not as aggressively as mine, but that was before it was anything that could be changed. And if I can get through someone making fun of my height, the hell do I care what I'm wearing? What do I care what games you're playing, whatever? That doesn't matter to me, because I'm already past all of that.
Yeah.
But you have to get to that point. And yes, a big factor of that too goes back again to parenting.
Mm-hmm.
You and my father cultivated a mindset and a personality in me and my brother that created the perfect storm for us to overcome these challenges.
Yeah.
And for us to move past the bullying. So yes, parenting absolutely was a big factor. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
topic we're going to talk about in the next couple of weeks, is parenting and the effects that it can have on your kids. But that's something that's really lacking. And a lot of the kids that you see that unfortunately they, commit suicide, or they never really get over the bullying or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
look at the parenting situation. Look at how they were raised. What kind of environment was cultivated for them? That's going to tell you more. It's not the kid's fault. It's not even someone who really struggled with bullying growing up and the toll that it took on their mental health, which, please don't get me wrong, it absolutely takes a toll on your mental health.
Yeah.
But the ones who still struggle with it well into adulthood, they're usually the ones that don't have a solid foundation.
Yeah. Well, if they couldn't come home and they couldn't be honest with their parents and say, like, this is happening. And
Or know how to process it themselves.
well, right. Right. I mean, I remember going to the school and saying, like, this is happening. And when
I said, okay,
yeah,
thanks for letting us know.
We'll take a look into it, and can you give us names? And it was like, well, that's going to make it worse. Like, observe. There's that thing about observation. Yeah, that goes for the bullies too. They don't have a great home situation. They had to learn it from somewhere, and they were probably bullied at home, and they think that it's okay to bully. One of my proudest moments, and I have had many as a parent, many, but I remember Michael coming home and saying that
my brother.
Michael Anthony came home and he said that they were making fun of a kid, a special needs kid, in the cafeteria, and he put himself in the middle of it and stopped it, and then sat down and ate lunch with that kid. And I
Don't
was
make me cry today, okay? My makeup, my eyeliner, and mascara is not waterproof. We're on camera right now. Do not make me cry today.
And I was like, hell yeah, that's my kid. When he was the skateboarder that, all the skateboarders are skateboarding where they're not supposed to, and the cops show up, he was the one that would walk up and, like, talk to the cops and get them all out of trouble.
What's
and
the
like
statute for limitations? Maybe we should stop talking.
Well, no, because he was respectful,
I'm playing.
and he, they were just a group of kids that wanted to have fun,
Yeah.
you know, and it always is just, I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, and I want to go back to the bullying comment or part of the conversation too, because it's not even that the bullies, they may not learn it from home. But what they do learn from home is that usually there's some sort of emotional upheaval going on where they don't feel like they have any power. So it's not even necessarily that their parents are bullies themselves. It can be that they don't feel like there's anywhere that they're getting healthy attention. And so they feel like they have to assert themselves somewhere, or that their needs are not getting met. So their response to that and their coping mechanism is, I'm going to overpower somebody else to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
It's very common with low self-esteem individuals. And so that goes back to parenting and the where you are raised. What's the smirk for?
Because I am going to drop a confession.
Were you a bully?
No.
Was I a bully?
No.
And I don't remember? Oh, okay.
No.
I don't know.
I am going, because as you were talking about that, I just remember, and it's a friend of mine.
Drum roll?
She's supposed to be watching today. I don't know if she is. I'll just say Sam. She you don't know her last name, so it's fine. I remember her the first time she came over to the house. We worked together in the healthcare system, and the first time she came over to the house, and I think it was like for dinner or whatever, and the next time we were at work, she looked at me and she's like, you are a completely different person at home versus work. At work, those wonderful 360 evaluations that they used to make us do. Everyone has to tell you what they think of you. I was called unapproachable. I was called like they may as well have said I had a resting bitch face. Cheerleader, but resting bitch face, and you're unapproachable and you're so mean. And when you think about it, at home, I was very much the happily very dutiful housewife that I always wanted to be. I still can be when I want to be that 50s, 60s, 1950s, 1960s housewife.
I thought of a joke in my head. I'm not laughing at you. I'm so sorry.
I can only imagine. And that's me and my husband's relationship is much more like, our marriage is much more from, design.
Okay, now I have to make the joke from the 50s, 60s, but without the domestic abuse.
Well, not everybody had domestic abuse in the 50s and 60s. That's all in movies.
That's why I said it's a joke. I'm playing off of Vince Vaughn, where they're in couples therapy, and he goes, there's not like domestic violence in the relationship, and like nobody laughs, and it's dead silent. So,
not that I wore those pretty little, house dresses and doing the.
That would look great on you though, like a polka dot dress.
Yeah, so cute. I really wanted to be. Yes, it is. I really wanted to be like Lucille Ball and Mary Tyler. Well, Mary Tyler Moore wasn't. She was more my
really nothing.
Yeah. Woo! Bring us back. So yeah. I was two different people at home, because I would go to work and I had more power there. There I was a decision maker. There I was, in control.
You were in charge.
Yeah, I was in charge. I had to make decisions. And so I had this power that I don't have at home, and I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want, by the way, and that's
what another great topic that we should have.
I was just going to say, and that's another way that I refuse to conform. I wasn't going to be like, heaven forbid, like anyone would say, well, what, your wife doesn't allow you to go out? What the hell? What are you talking? Who allows their husband or their wife to, like, you do, and you consider each other. Like, we have a partnership, but other people have very different marriages. And we didn't conform to that. I always said we have a bubble around our marriage, and if you don't like it, you don't have to come into our bubble.
That's a really weird way of saying that because that sounds like something else, but I understand what you're saying. But okay, we'll just move on from that.
A great conversation though for a future topic though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marriage. Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I'm so experienced in that topic. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, what else did we want to talk about with conforming and consumerism?
I don't know. Are there any questions? Anyone want to share anything else? And Jenny, thank you for sharing and being so honest. And I can't imagine, having to deal with the things that you probably had to deal with in high school, just because of being different. But we're all different, and I think that's what we're trying to say, is that being different should be the norm.
Right.
The norm shouldn't be let's all fake it so we look the same and we act the same.
This is a great segue to a related topic, though.
What?
Something else that I get a little heated about.
What? You?
I know. Again, shocking.
Delightful. Being
weird and yourself and original and not conforming should absolutely be celebrated, but not to the point where that becomes something to conform to.
Oh, yes.
Anxiety and depression, should not be a conformity thing.
Right.
You shouldn't want to have those things to fit in. It's okay to not have them.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be into something weird and quirky if you're not into it.
Yeah.
You can just be a normal person if that's who you are. But the point is to be who you are. And to the people out there who like boasting about their anxiety and depression and mental health issues that maybe we could argue, maybe it's self-inflicted because you wanted to fit in. Those of us that struggle with those things tend not to boast about it.
Right.
Because it's really not a fun experience. And I'm sure some of you that are commenting can relate to that it's not really something that you go around telling the world about and make all, accounts about it. It becomes your personality. We're trying to move away from it generally. So, if you find yourself feeling like you want to make a big deal out of something like that, maybe take a look at why. Are you trying to get attention? Are you trying to fit in? Are you trying to get sympathy, to your point? What's really going on? Or are you actually genuinely feeling those feelings?
And are you trying to bring education to the to how you're feeling, right? Like, if your friend doesn't show up or doesn't want to go to a party because they have social anxiety, don't freaking lay a guilt trip on them, and because that's not going to help. And when you drag them there, they're going to have a shit time. It's going to make you have a shit time. And so it's just a shit show all around. So then don't do it. Respect them where they're at.
Yeah.
And so I think that when you're kind of making a bigger deal of how you're feeling because you want to claim that you have something that maybe you don't have as much as somebody else, maybe you have bouts of sadness and depression. Sure. Absolutely I do. Am I a depressed person? No, I don't know. I've tried, like, there's been times, especially like my mom just passed. Like, I feel like I should be laying in bed in the fetal position. Like, I should be.
You don't have it in you, and that's okay.
Like, but I can't. There's things that I want to do, and I got to get done. Your father today was like, "Why don't you go outside and like work with the animals and just listen to nature?" And I'm like, because I have podcasts and I have things to learn. I'm like, because I want to listen. I can still hear nature, but I also like to hear the podcast and hear about how to bring my inner family together more, because I'm a constant learner. and I'm not happy unless I'm learning something sometimes, and that's okay. But yeah, I mean, I've tried, like, okay, I'm gonna lay in bed and I am just gonna sit here and I'm gonna sit here in my emotions.
Do you remember what I said to you the day after that happened?
No, I honestly don't remember.
I told you, I sat you down and I said to you, I'm giving you permission to be okay. It is okay to be okay.
Yeah.
Because this is a perfect example of conforming. How many times have we heard in the last 3 weeks since your mom passed? Well, I mean, that's not typically what people do in these situations. I mean, well, we should do it this way because that's the way that it's done. I don't care how it's always been done. Oh, well, you really should be upset all day because, that person died. Or I cannot because they're in the eternal and they're beautifully happy and at peace and free and the ultimate loving and all of these things. Who cares how other people do things?
Right. I'm just laughing at Raymond. If I
had Raymond, no, I'm kidding.
If I had some kind of a medicine bottle, I'd shake it.
Snap! My iced coffee condensation just got all over my keyboard.
No, but it's so true. And everyone's grief is different, and everyone, you have to do the journey that matches for the person. And a lot of people on this chat right now know that last night I had a moment. I had a moment last night. I spiraled downward, and most of
Another topic coming up.
not all of you on here, helped me very much, and a lot of singing in this room, because that's what I like to do. But yes, conforming, and oh, you have to do it this way, and you have to have a funeral, and you have to, you have to take off work for 2 weeks, and you have to cry, and you have to be sad. My mom is free. She knows more shit than we do now, because she knows all the secrets of the universe, and I know, helped the Panthers win. So woohoo, Panthers, because we won the Stanley Cup. So not the one you drink out of, the one that you're not supposed to touch till you win. But anyway,
look at you trying to give hockey back. I think the overall arching theme here with conforming and consumerism is try and experiment for yourself and evaluate your intentions with different things that you're doing.
Get curious.
Whether that's with conforming or buying things, whatever it is. What is the intention of it? Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because it makes you happy? Are you doing it because you enjoy it? Are you doing it or posting it because you like the way it looks, or you're sharing something that's important to you? Or is your sole intention to gain attention, to fit in, to fit, to match a trend? Like, why are you doing or thinking or saying or buying the things that you are? And if you find that you are doing it just to fit in, just because everyone else has it, just because you think you'll get likes from it, that's when it may be time to kind of take a look at things and look at, are you living your life just for everybody else?
Right. It's a really good point.
Oh my God, Raymond. I gotta throw that up.
Yes. Can somebody please make a note of that so we remember this forever?
I am forever going to refer to it as roasting the body. That is hysterical.
Listen, your father has told me, under no uncertain terms, try different. Yes, he wants to be on his.
What's not going? I already said I don't want to cry today. Can we not?
Pushed into the ocean.
We come on.
Okay. Anywho, yes, do different things, be yourself, do what feels right for you, and
let your weird self out. Unless you don't have a weird self, and that's okay, then let your unweird self out. But just be who you are. Because that's how your people find you. Honestly. It sounds so cliche, but it's so true.
What do you consider the weirdest thing about you or something that you like? I'm trying to like ask that. What's something that no one else knows on here about you that some might consider weird?
Why don't you go first while I think about it? I feel like you have something ready.
I feel like everybody knows everything about me already. Whip
Not
out
true.
the weirdness. Yeah, whip out that weirdness.
Comment what your weird thing is. Okay, Jenny, right on.
Yes.
Nation. Okay.
My weirdness is
I have a
I,
lot of things.
I feel like I have a lot of things too, but they're not like, but I feel like everybody knows them. Like I love all kinds of music, and especially like,
Are you joking? That's your weird thing that you pull out? You like music? Who doesn't like
I'm
music?
oh, I secretly really want to be able to watch the Hallmark Channel all the time, and yet
There we go.
I love rom-coms or anything that's going to make me cry. Like I
No,
love
you
movies to
love
make me cry.
corny shit, like the
I
bumper stickers.
I do. Yes, I'm a sticker speaker.
I have one.
What?
I have a couple. One, I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings. Two, I am really good at dream interpretation. So people tell me their dreams, and I tell them what they mean, even if they don't necessarily believe it at first. It usually is pretty spot on. And I had a third one. I don't remember what it was now. I try to talk to animals, but I haven't been successful yet.
That you know of.
That I know of, but it's kind of like the thing where you constantly test if you have the force and you never really do. But then, like, maybe one day you will. So, I'll even have conversations with the animals as if they're responding to me, kind of like, what's his name in Frozen?
Olaf?
No, no,
Kristoff.
Kristoff, kind of like Kristoff, where he talks to the reindeer and then speaks as the reindeer. I'll just talk to our animals and then just assume what their response is, and yeah.
By the way, with this crowd, Lord of the Rings is not being a
I know, but there are people that could be watching that Lord of the Rings is weird. Like I have a whole shelf with a bunch of collectibles. It's pretty awesome. I haven't really gotten into the not addendums, appendixes and stuff like that. I'm just the classic Lord of the Rings girly, and the Hobbit. But I already had my second breakfast right before this, Renee. You know it.
Dude. Yeah. And musical theater, Renee, I'm right there with you. Like, take me. I remember going to Stomp. I remember going to Phantom of the Opera. There was a Dracula one that my mom or someone took me to. We used to have a place down here called the Burt Reynolds Theater. And I thought it was really cool because I thought I'd actually get to meet Burt Reynolds. Never did. But thought he would live there, like, because it was his theater.
This would definitely be another one of your weird things because I hate musicals.
I
hate them so much.
Fucking love musicals, and that's why I love Falling in Reverse. Like Ronnie Radke, like he puts on musical, like
he records music videos.
Like, oh, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Hello. All-time favorite. Yes, I was up on stage, and yes, I lost my virginity as far as show. No, it's when you go to this Rocky Horror Picture Show for the very first time, they call that losing your virginity. That's what that means.
That feels like the equivalent of that episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon shows Amy later Raiders of the Lost Ark, and she was like, I had a different thing in mind when you said I was going to. I forgot even what the line was, but it was very similar to that. That would be another odd one. On that note,
oh my God, Fiddler on the Roof. Huh! I used to know that whole album front and back. Like I could sing every song from that musical because I saw that.
Well, your crowd is in the comments because they all apparently love everything that you're saying, and I #can't relate.
Well, you used to want to be a rockette.
I never wanted to be a rockette. I had I still do have mad respect for the Rockettes. That's the one musical production that I love dearly, and it's amazing. And probably because my pop took me years ago, once or twice, and it was the greatest show ever. And I still stand by that. And they are incredible and so strong and powerful, and their dresses and outfits are beautiful. And it's related to Christmas, which is awesome.
Except we can't stand the Nutcracker. Sorry, not
What are you
sorry.
talking about?
The musical.
That's actually another one I don't mind.
See, and I
Thinking
can't
back to it, I don't mind it, but I think it's a nostalgia thing.
I like the first act. I don't want to sit through the second.
I don't really remember. You know what? I'm just hearing the song, so it might just be like a Christmas nostalgia music more than the production. I think this is a great place to end for today.
I know, but it was so much fun. Thank you all for joining us and for commenting, because that makes it so much more fun.
Yes.
We don't feel as weird, but then again, we don't care.
No.
That's why we're shockingly delightful. But really, someone asked me the other day, like, why 2 shows? And, shockingly delightful is much more about you and I just having fun with the audience and talking about topics that we go off on tangents, and we can just kind of do that and say whatever. And Moment of Presence is much more geared towards, self-help, self-improvement, mindfulness, having guests on, which tomorrow, by the way, we're talking about eating healthy, and what does that look like, and why we like comfort food, and, just the things that we do that, that affect our bodies. So that is going to be tomorrow.
And quick question, since there's quite a few of you watching, we were playing around with the idea of moving Shockingly Delightful to Tuesdays so that the shows weren't back to back, since we're on Wednesdays right now and Moment of Presence is Thursday. How do y'all in the comments, do you like Wednesdays and you like it back to back, or would it be better if it was a Tuesday Thursday situation? Because obviously, either one works for us. So if there's one that works better for the viewers, we're happy to shift and, ebb and flow where you guys need it. So let us know in the comments, you like Wednesday, Thursday, or do you like the idea of Tuesday, Thursday instead? So let us know. And then if we are going to change it, that would start next week in July. So if you have thoughts on it, put it in the comments.
And stay tuned, because there is something coming big.
Yes.
Coming. A big
unrelated to Shockingly Delightful, completely related to Moksha Grace Coaching, which, speaking of which, Michelle, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
At mokshagrace.com and on all social media under Moksha Grace.
Or Moksha Grace Coaching. I'm going to see if I can get them all under one thing, but yeah. And you can find me at wickedwisdomconsulting.com. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook under that name. And if you need any sort of operations help with your business, you need someone, more importantly, to help you run your business, that's really where my sweet spot is. Love to have a conversation with you, or just be able to help you out. So yeah, we will see you guys next week, either on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see what y'all say in the comments. And yeah.
Don't forget, the first person, I don't know if Jenny did it, but the first person that posts a picture of themselves wearing pink will get a free session with me, full coaching session. And I just wanted to say that, today was really awesome and amazing, and it was, so fetch.
Raymond, you're hysterical today. Oh my gosh, you said you can find me in a band. That's
yep.
And Renee, yes, actually, I'm glad you said that. I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Great suggestion. Our minds are like right there. I'm working on something else for somebody who is like a drill sergeant. But yes, that'll be I'm playing with you. It's a joke. But yeah, that'll be next on the list. That's a great idea. Love it.
And yes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a pot.
Stick them in a stew.
Oh, is that what that is? Stew.
I mean, that's the line. You could say, I could see pot. I mean, that is a pot.
Stick in a pot.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, see you guys later. See you next week. And let's build 2 more seconds, and it'll be exactly an hour. And yep, we're going to sign off now. Bye.